Hey there, everybody. Thanks for joining me for another one man review. Today, I will be taking a look at Hector German Osterheld's collaboration with Alberto and Enrique Breccia, father and son collab on EVITA, the life and work of Eva Peron. I got this because I'm a huge Breccia fan, now both fans of both father and son. So this is really cool to get to see a collaboration done by them. This book seems to have had a pretty complicated publication history. It followed up, so it seems that this came out in 1970 as a follow-up to Osterheld and both Breccia's Life of Che, which I also have. I haven't read yet. Um, I guess this was considered to be a controversial publication, and Breccia himself said that in 1973 that this hadn't sold a single copy. In the early 2000s, comic editor Javier Doyo said he found Osterheld's 1970 script for Evita in Alberto Breccia's studio long after the author and Alberto had passed away. So in 2002, this got published in a black and white edition using restored and updated versions of Osterheld's script. And Fantagraphics thing got the right to publish this in English. I'm kind of interested about the art because it's pretty obvious that the art's not reproduced super clean in here. So with the access to the script, I'm not sure that they had access to the original art, or maybe just the tools that they were drawing with were like a little clumsier than I think. But some of this stuff here looks like it's pretty filled in. You know, I know what some of these marks look like in original art by these guys that I've seen, and it looks like some fill in. So I don't know what happened with the original art. But this is just more like a textbook, almost an illustrated textbook on the life of Eva Peron. The format's not exactly my favorite format, where it is just these gigantic chunks of text with the drawings interspersed. Compositions like this, where it's a little bit more composition-y, playful, is interesting to me compared to this. But really, I'm just in it for the art. This looks like there's a lot of the razor blade drawing that I've seen Breccia do, just by what some of the textures look like and whatnot. But again, like, I know what razor marks look like and the kind of subtlety of marks that they can produce, and this is pretty like blown out. So in general, this I think is kind of like a disappointing book to me, because I'm not particularly interested in the story here. Someone could get me interested in the story by telling it in a really compelling way, but these big, like, textbook chunks of text aren't doing it for me. It's a pretty straightforward, like, biography without like any of the, I don't know, I don't feel like I get involved with the characters. So I'll be honest, I quit reading this one after a while, just enjoying the art. But then with the enjoyment of the art, again, there's stuff like this where I know this is razor blade work, and I know what that looks like, and it's not reproducing super well. So it's a nice book. It's fun to look through. There are moments like this in the dress where, again, I can see all that wild razor mark making and beautiful, beautiful ink slinging. But mentally, I have to go past and unpack that a little bit. So this is one of my problems, and it's not Fantagraphics' fault, but it's one of my problems with some of the stuff. Most of the stuff they have in the Breccia library is it's just, they don't have access to the materials to get a perfect reproduction. So again, nothing Fantagraphics could really do about that. But it's a bummer when you have someone who's doing so much cool stuff with ink that it's being lost to time. So that carries over into a lot of the Breccia stuff that they've put out. I glanced at the Life of Che one. It seems kind of similar to this. The other books that I have by them kind of have that problem as well, except for the Dracula, because they're working from color art instead of black and white line art. So it's cool. I'm glad I have it. I'm glad I get to see something where Alberto and Enrique are collaborating together. I have no idea how the kind of roles on that parsed out. It looks mostly like Alberto's work to me because of the razor stuff, but I'm also not familiar enough with either of their careers to really know. So, cool book. I'm glad I have it, just like the completist in me. But with the art being like not having access to those original materials, the writing isn't enough to overcome that for me. So, this is like a completist type of book for me, but I don't know that I could recommend it in general. Or maybe if you like had a history assignment where you needed to talk about Eva Peron in your class, like this would be a good book to assign. The Eisner nominated The Strange Death of Alex Raymond by Dave Sim and myself. This is a gorgeously illustrated and designed book. Dave doing most of the illustration. Amazing compositions throughout. What Dave is doing is he's recording his obsession with the death of master cartoonist Alex Raymond behind the wheel of Stan Drake's car when they got into a car crash. The best description of the book that I've heard is that it's like understanding comics with pages like this, mixed with something like From Hell when you get into the theories about what actually happened with the car crash. And then with Sean on production, it's just one of the most gorgeously printed books you could get a hold of.